Go down.
Hello guys, we are going to run through mounting our awning mounts that we manufacture, obviously to suit our conversion. This is for people who are fitting conversion themselves and also people who've already got a conversion and want to fit mounts. So we just do two different types. We've got the heavy duty corner mount, which is all 6mm aluminium, laser folded and welded. Obviously it sits at the rear of the vehicle. For the passenger side, this one is for. So I should show you that way. Bolts onto the car, rear armature rolls around the back of the car, and it just gives you that lateral bracing for your 270 awning. These are what we call, so that's called a heavy duty corner mount if you do want to order one, or if you're chatting to one of the sales girls in the office. That is the side mount bracket, which is 4mm aluminium, laser folded and welded. And if you're having an awning, like a 270 awning, definitely grab that. If you're having just a normal awning, you can sort of get away with 2 or 3 of these, just a normal side awning. And a shower, tent / awning on the other side, or this side, whatever, same thing. Max tracks, whatever you want. People mount shovels to these things, anything you want. Principle of these, because a lot of people mount that stuff to their roof rack, obviously your roof now opens and closes. So these are designed to essentially just hold what you want away from the conversion. So when it opens and closes, whatever you got bolted to, or the side here, if you bolted it to here, you'd foul on that when it opens and closes. Whereas this holds it away from the vehicle a little bit and then allows you to mount it at whatever height you want. So we'll run through how to install these. If you were to purchase a kit, it comes with all the nuts and bolts and everything you need to do it. Obviously just got to supply your own power tools and drills. Comes with nut certs as well. So just a brief run through on how it's mounted. 2 mounting holes at the back, hold up to the car, pop a little pen through, mark your markings or your holes, take it away, drill your holes, put your nut cert in, it's M8 nut cert we supply, and then throw in your stainless steel bolts. So, and then this little here is like a little gutter clamp. Stainless steel, obviously powder coated as well. Clamps at the bottom of the gutter, just basically just to counteract that sort of upward lift of wind on your awning. So stick those on after, and they come with little sort of soft pads so we don't take the paint off your gutter or the car. Cool, let's get into it. Tools you'll need: H5 Allen key, 10mm spanner, a center punch, obviously a hammer, you need a little pen to go through that hole. Drill, 6.5mm drill. We use step drills because they are so much quicker. A little bit more expensive, but they're quicker. 6.5mm, 10.5mm for the nut certs. This is just an impact driver. You can just use a normal drill, doesn't matter. This is our nut cert gun. It's obviously battery operated. Pretty cool bit of kit, but bloody expensive. So recommend just getting a simple one from Bunnings, just like a little one of those ones. Let's get into it. Pop the mount up. You want to line up the side of the mount with the sort of edge of the window. Same for the middle. Whole point of that is it transfers the forces straight through the frame, straight into that mounting bracket, which holds the conversion to the car. There's 3 mounting brackets on each side. One at the C pillar, B pillar, and one just above the door. So those mounting brackets are where those crossbars are in your roof, obviously before your conversion goes on. So hold it up, alignment, make sure the back is like flat to it. You're not on like a crazy angle or you're sitting, off the gutter. As you can see, we've just put a bit of tape on here. We just do this, it just stops the swarf getting stuck in the gutter and sitting around here. Even though the frame is aluminium, so they're not gonna cause rust, but it still does oxidize and make a bit of a mess. So hold it against it like that, poke your pen through, mark the slotted holes, preferably the top of them, because you want to get your bolts in as high as possible so you can gain that extra leverage. So we're basically putting a hole center of the upper end of the slot that we've marked. So I have already done these, but there we go. It's just nothing crazy. It's aluminium, it's not too hard. 10.5mm drill bit for the nut certs. So with the corner mounts, you want to be making sure that the back is hard up against it, this piece there, is hard up against the back of the conversion, and then you want to make sure this is upright. See how it rocks over like that? You just want to make it snug up against the back, and the bottom of this is touching square. So you kind of push in, and then I'm just pulling down with that hand. Kind of gets it. You know when it's sitting right because it just doesn't move. So we're going to hold that there, mark your holes. So just a quick note, we're only center punching the side holes. We're going to wait till we've got the mount bolted onto the side here, and then that'll dictate exactly where we drill those holes because they need to be perfect. The drill holes that you mark at the top of the slots, that point is above the cut line of the car. So when you drill these holes, you're only drilling aluminium. You're not drilling through the body, that body of the vehicle. Long story short, you're not putting metal swarf all down through that inner gutter. When you do this, it's only drilling aluminium. So it's basically not going to cause rust down the track. When you're drilling these two holes on the driver's side for like a shower or something, just be aware there is a cable that runs on the inside gutter of the vehicle from the A-pillar to the back of the car. It's a factory little loom that's in there. When we install the conversion, we push that right down onto the inside gutter. So when you do this down the track, you don't interfere with it. However, just to be sure, so you don't drill through that cable, we'll open this up in a second and we'll show you how to pull that cable out of harm's way if it is in that area of drill. It should be a bit lower down, but if it's up there, you can at least just see it. Pull it out of the way before you drill your holes. So I'll run you through that in a second. Okay, so roof up, bed up, shoes off, walk in. Okay, so here's obviously conversion. You can see there's a bit of blackness here. That's the capping that we put on the cut roof. So down in here, there's I can't actually pull it out because we've jammed it down on purpose. But that's in here is your sort of loom that runs to the back of the car. Basically, as a rule of thumb, run your hand along, like find the cut edge of the troopy, run your hand along it, follow it back up to here, because we're drilling through where this mount is. So we're drilling through behind here. So basically, run your hand along the cut edge of the troop, and you'll be able to feel the rubber sheath / vehicle loom on the inside of it, so between you and the cut part of the troop, so inner gutter we call it. And basically you're just making sure that loom is below or in line with the cut level of the roof, because we drill well and truly above that cut level. So that's a good rule of thumb. If you can feel it above that, it'll be loose, so you might as well just pull it out of the way, like lift it up and pull it, and just just pull it back and tuck it, maybe even tape it around here, just so it's out of harm's way when you drill the holes. The holes are about this level. I'll show you on this side where the actual holes are. Just to give you an idea of where the holes are. So you can see where they are there, and it's probably about 15-20 mil above the cut part of the roof. So that's it here on the black, follow it all the way along. It's pretty high. You're probably not going to hit it, but it's just more of a pain in the ass if you do hit it, bit of a hassle. So once you've drilled your holes, we are then going to just take the burr off the outside. It's a little bit of a countersink, a little bit of a deburr. So when you sort of touch up these holes with a little bit of touch-up paint just to seal them. I know it's aluminium, but still good just to do it because aluminium does oxidize. So we just just take the burr off, get through the sharp edge so the paint actually sticks to something. I'll show you in a second what it looks like. That's all it is, just a little something. Touch-up paint on the raw aluminium. Aluminium still oxidizes from moisture, especially salt water or salt air. So we've obviously drilled a hole through it. We do put sticker all around this in a minute, so it's not a massive deal because it is sealed anyway. However, it's just good practice. Drill a hole through raw if it's been painted like it has. Just put some touch-up paint on that raw aluminium just to seal it up a little bit. That's all. Don't have to do it, but it's just good practice to do it. So we've done our little touch-up paint on our raw aluminium drilled holes. Pull the masking tape off now, let that paint dry, and then we'll go along and put our M8 nutsets through. So we are picking up our M8 nutsets, which are supplied with the awning mounts, and obviously a nutset gun. So if you do happen to have one of these, set it to level 60 for M8 steel. Okay, pop them in. If you are self-installing, keep the T-Rex glue, T-Rex power, fast grab glue. You can use any sticker really. You could probably even use, don't use silicone actually, silicone kit that I from cars. It's polyurethane glue, just sort of rubbery, waterproof, that type of stuff. There we go. So we've put our nutsets in. We are putting glue over the top of the hole and around and in it and just all over it. This is to seal, just prevent water ingress creeping through the bolts, causing stuff to rust. Just want to keep all the moisture out of the troopy. Put glue on. Now we are popping our bolts. These are our M8 bolts with a little M8 washer, obviously stainless steel, Allen key head, supplied in the kit. So we're just going to pop them on. So you're just tightening these up, essentially finger tight on that leverage. You're not trying to crank them yet. So you're just doing them up fairly firm. Give it a little tap down so you know that you're sitting on that gutter. So we have done these ones finger tight as well. And then I've just tapped this down and wiggled it around a bit till we're sitting flush on the gutter. Then we're going to go along and put the gutter clamps on. We'll tighten them all up. Stand back, make sure these are in line now. And then once they're in line, we'll then go ahead and drill these two back holes. One more tool I forgot to mention before. This is a 150 extension piece with just a socket for an impact. 10mm socket on the end. Socket, what's it called? A driver for an impact, sorry. 10mm socket on the end. Bit of masking tape to create stickiness. This is what everyone else does, but I hate doing it. So I'm just going to do the messy way, which is get a little bit of glue, especially high tack glue like this. And I just put a bit of glue in the socket. I know that's not what you meant to do, but I just do it. That goes in there, nut goes on top, stays on there. So the nut sticks on there, or if you've got, it's stainless steel, so even magnetic drivers might not even hold it. So nuts in there. I've got my gutter clamp and my 20mm M6 stainless steel bolt with a spring washer and a washer. And I'm just climbing up here, going to put the gutter clamp on, bolt it to the underside of the bracket. Do it all up finger tight for now. So no washer on top, obviously, because it's a flange washer. Serrated flange washer, which obviously digs in, stops it from undoing. So we've got our 10mm socket on top with our impact driver. This is just a Milwaukee impact driver set to level 1, which is the lightest. It's pretty good for doing M6 bolts. As you can see, the clamp is fairly close to the gutter, so we don't need to push that clamp in anymore. We're just going to pop the spanner on the bottom of that bolt and tighten it up with the impact. Same on this side, making sure the gutter clamp is tight to the gutter. Tightening that up. So you're making sure the gutter clamp's parallel with the car. You're making sure that you haven't got the metal touching the metal. It's going to rub and cause a bit of paint to come off. So just making sure that sponge that we put in there is actually doing its job properly. So we've tightened up those M6 bolts. We're now going to torque up, not using a torque wrench, but this is a bit unconventional, but it just seems to work super well. Is 10mm spanner on the end of the Allen key, and we're kind of just like tighten it up a little bit. And you can feel when it gets tight. Allen key starts to flex, pretty good indication. And that's them. So you're not really going to pull that off the car. Cool. Next one. .6.5mm drill. We're just going to pop a drill straight through here. We are going through the body of the car as well. So vacuum out swarf from the inside, which I'll show in a second, and plenty of paint and plenty of glue. Blow a full swarf off the outside, off the doors, off the car, and then just vacuum up the inside. Access hole in the back here. Take off the cover, and then with your vacuum, just suck out all the swarf from the inside. I can do that. So we are just putting a little bit of paint on the drill holes that we just did, that we just put through, because we have drilled through the body of the vehicle. So there is obviously raw metal in there. So we're just completely soaking that in paint. Let that dry for a couple of hours, and then we'll pop the glue on and put the bolts through. So we're putting glue, same glue as we used on the mounts outside, and we're sort of just filling up the hole with a bit of pressure. So it goes in and just squashes out into every little nook and cranny, because obviously we don't want any water ingress. So bolt-on driver, 35mm countersunk stainless steel bolt, M6. Pop that on, drive it through, and then a little bit of glue on your finger, like a high-tack glue. That's what the T-Rex is great, because it's high-tack, and that just holds a nut on your finger, because obviously you're using that same access hole that we used to vacuum out the swarf. So we're just driving that in like this, and then finding the other end of that bolt with our finger, spinning it. That's it. We're going to tighten them up now. Bit of terps on a rag, works wonders. And then don't forget to pop the cap back on as well. In there.